Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I wanted to show you how I made this fun little mice on ice ornament card. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start off by using the Really Rainbow Christmas Petite paper pack, and we're going to be using all of these colors here, the red, the green, the blue. That one has like little gray stars on it, and then that other one is like a blue diagonal. So I'm going to grab that blue diagonal pattern and the white one with the little stars on it. Then I'm going to go to my Just Stitching Double Rectangles dies, and I'm going to grab that largest one. And you can see there that there's no cut line. It's just going to create a double stitch line on the edge of my paper. So I've gone ahead and cut these two pieces of paper to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to run these through my Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine. And there you can see it just creates that beautiful stitched edge. So now I'm going to create a little ornament here. So I'm going to grab that middle size ornament from the Stitched Ornament die set, and I want to place it up towards the top here and over towards the right, just leaving a little bit of distance there between that stitched edge on the right and the ornament itself. I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine, and now you can see that leaves a beautiful stitched edge all around that ornament. And that piece there we can just set aside for another project. So now using my T ruler, I'm going to create a straight line here. I'm going about midway on that ornament, on like the fattest part of the ornament, about halfway there. And then I'm just going to draw a straight line. And that's going to be my cut line. And then I want to continue that cut line all the way around that ornament. So initially here I'm going to go along that straight line, right, not all the way in, maybe about 1/8 of an inch from that edge of that ornament. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to take that die that we used and I'm going to pop it right in place, and it almost locks itself into place there. It'll just slide right in. And then I'm going to trace the bottom half from that cut line down of that ornament. So I'm just using a pencil here and I'm tracing around it. And that's going to create the cut line I need to go around the edge of that ornament. Now you could do this freehand if you wanted to, but I did want to show you that by using that die, you can just trace right around it and create a nice, easy cut line to follow. So I'm going to cut along that edge right up to that straight line there. And so that's going to be the top of the card. Now it did leave a little pencil mark there, so I'm going to take my Mars plastic Statler eraser here, and I'm just going to erase those lines. And this eraser works really well for that kind of thing. It won't leave any marks behind. So you can see that there. So that's going to sit on the top of that blue diagonal panel. So now for the inside, I'm going back to that same die, and I'm going to grab my clear acetate, and this is also from Lawn Fawn, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut all the way around, just kind of roughly cutting this here. I'm not being perfect here. I'm just going to kind of just get a rough idea of the size of this. And then once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and just trim it down a little bit more so it will be able to fit behind that ornament that we've already created for the card. So I'm just trimming off maybe like a 1/16 of an inch all the way around there. And then you want to double check to make sure that it fits nicely behind that ornament. So now I'm going to grab my 1/8 inch score tape, and I'm going to just go ahead and put the tape all the way around this ornament. So I just want to go right up against the edge of that ornament. And this tape is pretty flexible, so you can kind of move it around a bit, and you'll probably just have to cut it into little sections. Now, if you wanted to skip the tape and use glue, you could just set this whole thing aside and we'll come back to it later. But I put the tape on it. I have not removed any of the backing on the tape yet. I've got the acetate there, which I'm going to set aside for now. So now I'm going to create the scene for the ornament. I'm using the snowy blue sky, that green paper with the dots on it. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a 65-pound white cardstock. And I'm going to run all 3 of those through my sizzix Sidekick machine. So now with the forest border and the stitched hillside borders, I'm going to go ahead and create a little bit of a scene here for my ornament. So this forest border has a matching hillside border that coordinates with it. So I'm just going to make sure that I select those 2, and I'm going to die cut this is going to be the pond that my little mouse is going to be skating on. So I'm going to die cut that out of the white, and I'm running these little pieces through my sizzix Sidekick machine. Now once I have that, I can determine where my forest border is going to be. So again, I want to make sure I'm kind of lining it up along that curve. So just slide it around until you find the right placement. And then I'm just going to tape that down with a little bit of the purple tape as well. And I'm going to run that through the die cut machine. So that's going to give me the 3 pieces I need to create my little scene on this ornament. So now we've got the snowy sky, that forest border, and the pond. Now for the pond, I'm going to add a little bit of color with the Weathered Wood Distress Oxide. And this is just kind of a blue-gray color, I'll say. It's very light. I just want to add a little shadow up at the top of the pond there. So now that that's all set, I'm going to take my glue tube from Lawn Fawn and I'm going to glue all 3 of these pieces together. And you do want to make sure you put a little bit of glue up on those trees as well, just to make sure that everything stays in place. And I'm just setting an acrylic block on that to let that dry while I put some glue on this piece here. So that's going to create the scene for the ornament. Now I'm going to grab the glitter pen and I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to all of those trees. And you can see that there. So now that is going to fit right behind that ornament. So I did not put the acetate in here yet. I'm going to tape this in place temporarily here so that I can get an exact positioning for my ornament. So you don't want to put the acetate in here yet. You want to do this step first. So you're going to use this to line that up exactly on that panel. And now I can remove that tape, and that will position it exactly where I need it to be. So that's a really easy trick for lining up these little openings. So now I can remove the backing from that tape. And now I'm going to position my acetate right behind that opening. Just pressing it down really well. So that you can see that's how that's going to fit together. Now I want to create the little mouse for my scene, my little skating mouse. So I'm going to grab that one there, and this is called Mice on Ice. And it has the coordinating dies as well. I'm going to be doing my stamping with the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. So I went ahead and stamped and die cut this little mouse. Now I'm going to do my coloring, and I'm going to start off with this scarf, and I'm using the Carmine Red, and I'm also using the blender pen. So I'm just going to put that red kind of along the edges here, just on both sides of the scarf, and then sort of pull it in towards the center. These are the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens. I'm going to be using the gray brown to do the little mouse. Now I do decide here to come in with my sugared almond pink to do the cheeks and the ears. Sometimes I like to do the cheeks first before I do all my blending. Then I can kind of blend around that area. So I'm just going to get that done first, and now I'm going to blend that gray. And I'm adding a little bit of pink to his nose as well. And as always with the little critters, I like to go in sort of a circular motion just to kind of create more of the fur kind of effect. And then for his skates, I'm just going to add a little touch of black up towards the top and pull it down towards the bottom. So that was really easy, quick and easy to color in. So now I can add this little guy to my scene, and he can be bending more forward, but I did want him a little bit more upright because I'm going to be putting a sentiment on the card and a little heart up there, so I kind of wanted it to look like he was looking up at that. So I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. Now I'm going to the smallest ornament in my die set, and I'm taking that red kind of plaid pattern paper, and then I'm going to grab that little snowflake and I'm going to place it right in the center of that ornament. I'm going to tape these down with some purple tape, and I'm going to run that through my machine 3 times. Now I also have some glitter paper here, and this is from the Lawn Fawn Pixie Dust collection, and that's glittered cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and run these through my little sizzix sidekick machine. Now this is going to die cut the ornament and the little snowflake out of the ornament at the same time. And that other piece we can either set aside or throw away. We don't need that. So now I'm going to die cut the whole ornament. So I'm not die cutting a snowflake out of this one. This is going to be the backing for that other ornament so that that glitter paper will show through. So you can see that there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and glue the red to the glitter paper. I'm just lining those up as I go along here. And I'm going to let that dry. So I did all 3 of those. So now I do want to do the little ornament toppers. So I'm going to grab the large one and the small one, and I'm using the Holiday glittered cardstock, and I'm going to use the silver. I die cut 3 of the little ornament toppers and 1 of the larger ones. And this larger one here is going to be for the ornament on the top of the card. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue the other 3 little ornament toppers on these red ornaments. So now I'm going to take that green kind of dotted paper, and I'm going to use that to create the little ribbons that the ornaments are going to be hanging from. So I'm going to die cut that 4 times. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue those to my ornaments. And we will be cutting down the string part of these hangers in a minute here, but for right now I'm just going to get them glued down. And then this one on the top, I'm also going to glue in place, and then I'm going to cut away the excess there. So I'm just turning that over and trimming off that excess. And then I'm just going to add a little touch of glue here at the top just so it doesn't pop up. And I'll place an acrylic block on that and let that dry. So now I've got all of these glued together. So now I'm going back to the top panel on my card, and I wanted to stamp Happy Holidays from the Say What Christmas Critters stamp set. So I'm going to position that there towards the left-hand side. And again, I wanted my little mouse to be looking up, sort of looking up at this sentiment. So I'm going to stamp this in the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And I'm using my Misty stamp positioner just in case I had to do a double stamping, but I didn't. But it's always a good idea once you've done this amount of work. So now I'm going to grab my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, and I'm just going to go right up to that stitched line. I just wanted to add a little bit of a highlight here with the glitter. So this is just a clear glitter pen. It's just going to give a little sparkle here. And I'm not sure you can see that there, but it does look really pretty in person. So now you can see how that's going to line up. Now my little ornaments are going to get tucked up underneath here. And I want the 3 of them hanging down below. And I'm just going to spend a few seconds here just positioning these in place. And for that one there, I will need to trim away that ribbon because you can see it there. So I'm going to take a pencil and I'm just going to mark that just so I know about where to cut. Now I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to glue these 3 in place. So this card design was inspired by the current Lawn Fawn blog challenge, which is called a card sketch, and it's challenge number 63. And if you go to my blog, there is a link there that'll take you back to that card challenge, so you can check that out as well. And I also want to mention that all of the supplies that I used in today's video are listed below, and they're also listed on my blog. Here I'm taking a 11 by 4¼ inch piece of white 100-pound cardstock. This is the Bristol Smooth cardstock. And I'm just going to score that at 5½ inches, and then I'm pressing out that crease with my bone folder. Now that panel will fit right on the front of this card. I'm going to use my 1/4 inch double-sided Lawn Fawn tape to position this in place. And I'm just going to remove the backing here and tape this down. I'm just turning the card over and lining it up with the table just to make it easier to position this. And then I'm taping that down. Now you can see that is going to fit right over top there, and I'm going to use some foam mounting tape. This is the Scotch foam mounting tape to position this down. And here I wanted to show you that I did put that foam tape all around the edge of that ornament as well, just to make sure that it doesn't collapse. Now if you wanted to make this into a shaker card, you want to make sure all of that tape is connected so that your little bits and pieces of glitter and sequins don't fall out. So if you are going to make a shaker card here, you do want to make sure you have tape all the way around. So now with the Red Heart Sparklettes from the Buttons Galore and More collection, I've grabbed these little Red Heart Sparklettes, and I'm going to go ahead and glue these in place. So I want one kind of right at the end of the word happy here. Just kind of look like it continues on. And now you can see that my little mouse is looking up at that. And then I'm going to grab those other 3 little hearts and place them in the center of the ornaments. So here's a closer look at the card. You can see all the detail we have. I really had fun doing this. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to visit me at pinkwhisperdesigns.com. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.